A couple minutes early, but good afternoon here on a rainy December 2nd here in Rhode Island. Welcome to the channel, Rhode Island's Hidden History. We're working on different things. We have grown a little bit in the last week or so with the sharing of our child laborers in the mills here in Rhode Island, especially in West Warwick as it was 1907. I've done some other mill stuff, but I mean, today in this day and age, the mills are occupied with businesses. You can't get inside them. All you can do is look a look at the outside of them, and so I think the little science photos, excuse me, will add some context and some stories to them. Just want to do some housekeeping here. So far, we have 68 public valid watch hours, and 2.8 short views. Southern, that is. But trying to grow that. Watch time from subscribers. We have 4.9 that watch that are subscribed and 95.1 that aren't subscribed. So if you want to subscribe. It doesn't cost you a cent. And you get to watch a lot of content, The biggest news, if you want to call it that, is I got one Patreon paid subscriber. So I've been posting more stuff on that lately, and some of it's free and some of it's not free. So only that's $2 a month. I'm also trying to build my Teespring site. I got some stuff on there coming up, some T-shirts, a hoodie, a coffee mug, which don't have anything to show you. I'm trying to grow this channel. We have 7,621 subscribers, which is quite a lot. It'd be nice one day to get to 10,000. But that's a whole other thing. I'm trying to do one of these a month. I got to learn how to share a screen on here, so I can show you stuff. But that's it. I also found someone who, a local historian that did a lot of research on the children in those Lewis Hines photos. The ones you could find names for and descendants for. So I'll be putting that in the storyline too eventually. And hopefully maybe get in contact with him and maybe do a podcast with him about his research and stuff. One of the main ones was John Dempsey, which has worked at the Fiskville Mill, which I will do a live thing on that when the weather clears up. Straight down the road from me, about not even a mile. Funny, when I was growing up, it was Falvey Linning. It was a laundry cleaning place that I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. That cleaned laundry, linen for like restaurants and stuff like that, tablecloths and napkins and stuff. And I think when I was out of high school, like 1978, 79, I walked down there to apply to a job. And it was thought that anyone could get a job at Falvey Linen. You had to be a complete idiot not to. And I wasn't a complete idiot, whatever. They were just, it told me to get lost, though. But anyway, that was the Fiskville Mill, and we'll do a story on that. That bit put down, I just recently discovered from the Hope Historical Society in 1938. So we'll do a story on that too. I also went to presentation from at the Pawtuxet Valley Historical Association last Saturday, or 2 weeks ago anyway. And they have a lot of historical stuff there about the valley, so I'm going to be looking and researching there at some point. It takes a lot of work. I just finished a video on the book about a Confederate soldier buried in New England. She'll be posting the next week or so. I'm trying to add more music to it and a little more flair in the beginning and stuff to get more notice. The tough field out there. There's a lot of AI generated videos out there that people are watching. I don't watch. I can tell by the picture, whatever you call it, at the beginning that it's AI, so I don't use any of that. I'm trying not to use any of that. I got a comment on when I posted about 21 Months of Captive, the Rachel Plum story, and the Fort Parker massacre, about what does that have to do with Rhode Island and history. I replied that it really doesn't have anything, but it's a part of history that should be told. I originally bought it because I thought I was related to that plumber, but it's a totally different plumber family that settled in Maryland in that area and then moved west. But I'm working on that too. Also, I don't know. I'm not the most organized thing. I can do what I can do. I'm just working on different stuff. I just wanted to catch up that, I haven't stopped doing anything, it's everything's a work in progress, Putting together a video or a story takes time. Planning to go out and do some live shooting takes time, and editing and stuff, so I'm just a small guy and a small fish in a pond. So stay tuned, and we got one watcher here. That's good. Please give us thumbs up when you can. I'm getting some likes and some if anybody has any questions, pop them in the chat room. Send me an email at jimplum88@yahoo.com. Glad to answer them. I'm trying to get more stuff out there. So I thank you for those of you who watch. I know it's a tough thing. It's like I'm trying to make my videos shorter, so and more pieces of them instead of one big long one, because I know attention spans are short. Excuse me. That's pretty much it. What else is going on? I'm always open for ideas. Any Rhode Island aficionados out there that want to send me ideas or thoughts, or anybody knows any Rhode Island historians that they could, who wouldn't mind doing a podcast, or anybody want to do a podcast just to talk about anything, just to get us out there, it would be great. The more exposure, the better. I don't know how far that podcast went that I did a few months ago there that ended up on Spotify, but what I'm going to end up doing is I don't know how to share on this platform, so I'm going to be looking up another platform where I can do show some pictures and some screens and stuff and get it more out there. That's about all I got to say. I do this because I love history, and driving around, I see these old big old mills, and I picture about all the people that worked in there. You know, these little kids. I remember reading one thing about John Dempsey that he died of emphysema. He didn't smoke. He died from all the dust that he inhaled at working in the mill as a kid. A lot of them did do that. You know, a lot of these child laborers were. Like when I posted today, it's a couple little girls. Were from Portugal. They were Portuguese. I don't know if they're from Portugal or, you know, the Azores or whatever. But they didn't speak English, you know. There's another little boy I posted about Domenico, Italian name, or it could be a Portuguese name. Anyway, he went to school for a little bit and then he went to work, you know. Probably a couple of families didn't have a lot of money, so they probably had been over here for a very short time and they needed money to get by, you know, like for stuff in 1907, you know. I mean, by then, there was a law in Rhode Island that outlawed child laborers, but the mill owners got away with it because they paid these children a lot less than an adult, you know. A lot of them with Doffers and spinners. The Doffer is one who takes the spindle, not the spindle, the full thing. I can't think of it. Full bobbin of thread off and puts an empty one on. That was your job. I'll do more stories on that. You know what mill life was like and stuff. You know, I was just telling someone that my grandmother on my mother's side came from Prince Edward Island, Canada. Around that time, she had an 8th grade education, and from the time she could work, she worked in the mills all her life. She thought it was the greatest thing, you know. But who knows, you know. That's neither here nor there. Excuse me. So that's about it. I'm trying to think what else is going on. That's pretty much all I got for now. I just want to check in, do some house cleaning stuff, tell you what's going on. We'll go from there. And I thank you for watching. If you've been watching or checking in, have a great day, and I'll see you online. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and that's all I can ask. Have a great day.